Okay, let's take a look at number 1a. Solve the equation by factoring and applying the zero product property. Okay, so we got to try to factor this. When you factor, you want to look at the first term. You want to ask yourself what times what is 3x squared. That's going to be 3x and x. And we know it's got to be 3x and x because 3 is prime. And we go back to the back and we say what times what is set as 49. Now, there's a lot of different choices. Well, not a lot. There's only two choices. It's either 1 and 49 and 7 and 7. The goal is we want to, when we're done, we want it such that the product of these two, whatever's going to live here and here and here and here, the product of those two have to add or subtract to 14. So what makes sense is for us to choose 7 and 7 over 49 and 1. Because only with 7 and 7 are we going to get close, even remotely close to 14. So we'll do that, and I'm going to choose plus 21 and minus 7 because I want to get a positive 14. This is all equal to 0. So the zero factor property basically says because anything times 0 is 0, we know 3x minus 7 has to be 0, or x plus 7 is 0. And from here, we just solve. So plus 7, 3x is 7, and then divide by 3, x is 7 over 3. On the other side, all we have to do is subtract 7, and x is equal to negative 7. And these are our two answers. Okay, let's take a look at another one. All right, 24x squared plus 6 equals 24x. The difference between the two is this one's very nice. It's already set up. I didn't say equal to 0, but it was equal to 0. So it's set up pretty nice, easy to solve. This one, you don't have 0 by itself, but that's not a big deal. All I have to do is subtract 24x from both sides. And I get 24x squared minus 24x plus 6 equals 0. From here, before I start trying to factor, I don't really want to just immediately jump and start factoring because I got 24 here, I got 24 here, and I got 6 here. Especially with the 24, those are pretty big numbers. So what I'm going to do instead of just brute force trying to factor it, I'm going to take everything and divide by, not 24, 6. I'm going to divide through by 6 because I can. And so that's going to give me 4x squared minus 4x plus 1. And this is a lot easier to work with. So from here, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to factor. I'm going to try 2x and 2x because 2x times 2x is 4x squared. The back has to be 1 and 1 because the only thing that gives me 1 when we multiply together is 1 and 1. And hopefully we end up getting 4x. And so we see we get 2 here, 2 here. So if they're both negative, I get negative 4x. Again, this is equal to 0. So 2x minus 1 equals 0. And 2x minus 1 equals 0. Now, these are both the same thing. So I only have to solve it once. And x is 1/2. And there we have it. Okay, let's try the next one. Now, what we have to make sure with the next one is do not immediately jump to n plus 5 equals 28 and n minus 7 equals 28. Because the zero factor property says anything times anything else is going to equal, if it's equal to 0, then each part has to be 0, right? But that's only true with 0, right? Like 28 times anything is not going to always give me 28, right? So be careful. This is where you kind of want to make sure it's equal to 0. You want to make sure you understand what the zero factor property means. So what we do here is we FOIL. FOIL is a fancy way of just saying you multiply everything by everything else. So n times n is n squared. N times negative 7 is negative 7n. 5 times n is 5n. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35. which equals to 28. Subtract 28 from both sides. N squared minus 7n plus 5n is going to be negative 63 is equal to 0. So we got everything on one side, and I'm going to consolidate terms. Negative 7n plus 5n is going to give me negative 2n minus 63. I'm going to ask myself what times what is 63. It's going to be 9 and 7. Now I made a mistake here. We want negative 9 and positive 7 because negative 9 plus 7 is negative 2. Equals 0. So n minus 9 equals 0. N plus 7 equals 0. N is 9. N is equal to negative 7. And there we have it. One more. 10m times quantity m plus 3 equals 3m minus 5. To start this one off, I'm going to distribute into both. 10m squared plus 30m equals 3m minus 5. From here, just like on the previous question, it's not equal to 0, so we got to make it equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract 3m. I'm going to add 5. And I'm going to get 10m squared plus 30m minus 3m plus 5 equals 0. Combine like terms. 10m squared plus 27m plus 5 equals 0. And then we factor. So I have no idea what's actually going to work here. I'm going to try 5m and 2m, and I'm going to try 1 and 5. This gives me 25, this gives me 2. With 25 and 2, if we add them together, we get 27. So I win. Rather, we win. So 5m plus 1 equals 0, and 2m plus 5 equals 0. And then we solve. Subtract 1, subtract 1. It's negative 1. 5 divided by 5, and negative 1/5. Do the same thing on the other side. Subtract 5, subtract 5. 2m equals negative 5. Divided by 2. And it's negative 5 over 2. And we get our answers. So, hopefully that makes sense. Gives you plenty of problems to practice. And I'll see you all in the next video.